All right, everybody, welcome to EO Boys for Thursday, January 23rd. Fuck it, it's a raw feed. We're doing it live. Emergency Oscar nom ep. I'm Clayton.
Yeah, emergency Oscar nom ep. I'm Pat Clayton. Oscar, 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 Oscar. Who will win? That is the question we're asking now. The nominations came out this morning. Were you fuck it doing it live? Were you watching live 8:30 a.m. Eastern on ABC Good Morning America when the nominations came out?
I was not able to. I was actually at work, so I did get the noms as they came in. I had it in a window, in
Okay.
a window, just getting updated. I did not get to see
So
the
you
lovely.
mean a window inside of the soot mine that you work in? You mean a physical window, not a computer like window tab. Like
No,
there
no,
was
no, 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 no. There
yeah,
was somebody outside the window putting pieces of paper up against the glass with
right.
each nom being announced. So I did not get to see the lovely Bowen Yang and the
Mhm.
lovely Rachel Sennett do these announcements, but good for them. Great for the Academy going young.
Yes, yes.
Young and hip.
Young and hip. Yeah, I mean, Bowen Yang is in one of the best picture noms, Wicked. Rachel Sennett. I mean, do you think they booked this? They booked Bowen Yang, Rachel Sennett to do this announcements like 6 months ago, figuring, okay, Wicked is going to get a lot of under the line noms. So Bowen Yang will be there for that movie. And Rachel Sennett will be the co star of Best Picture favorite Saturday night. Do you think that is why these two were booked?
I wouldn't go as far as to say best picture favorite, but I would say best picture nominee. I mean,
Yeah,
I do think there was, I mean, there was the buzz. There was
there
the
was
buzz
buzz.
that was happening. But I don't think this is her last shot at nom. I'll just say that. I think
Yeah,
she has a bright future. So we'll probably see her at the ceremony at some point.
yes, yes. But good for them. They were fun. They were flirty. They were fast. Good, uh, good
The F's,
nominations
the three F's.
presentation.
That's
The
what you
three
want.
Fs. Yeah, solid nominations presentation today. Um, I mean, let's get into who got nominated. Let's. Do you want to start at the top, or do you want to start with acting categories from the bottom up?
Let's start at the top.
All right, let's start at the top. So, Best Picture, your nominees are Nora, The Brutalist, A Complete Unknown, Conclave, Dune Part 2, Amelia Perez, and now with the surprises, I'm Still Here, Nickel Boys, The Substance, and Wicked. So, the big snub is A Real Pain. That
Mhm.
seemed like a sure thing in the sense that everyone figured it's running seventh or eighth, which
Mhm.
should be a comfortable get the nom. And it got the snub. Um, this was, I'd say, a top three of the year for me. Kirk Minahan, Podcast Jesus, he has this as his number one film of the year.
Wow.
So it's a bit of a snub. Have you seen A Real Pain?
I have not. It is currently on Hulu, and I plan to watch it.
Yeah. So a snub there, but it was never going to win, and it got screenplay and best supporting actor. So I think in the end, it gets what a movie like this could have always hoped for: writing and acting. Nom. Um, anything else stick out to you with the nominations for Best Picture? Were you like, whoa? Did you
Uh,
get a Keanu Reeves reaction for any of these?
no. Well, I'm still here. I think I'm still
Yeah.
here was the biggest shock. I thought Nickel Boys was always in the conversation.
Hmm.
I knew Substance was going to get it. It just had so much momentum,
Yeah.
and so
Congrats to our guest on the last episode, Brett of the New Flesh, because he was pulling, the Substance, a horror movie, getting its best picture. This has been a hobby horse of his for years and years and years and years and years. So
yeah.
big win for Brett that the Substance is a best picture nominee.
And also, I mean, if we're talking below the line, you've got a lot of nominations for the vampire movie. Why am I blanking right
Nosferatu.
now? Nosferatu got a lot of below the line, which is
Yeah.
I don't know if it was necessarily expected, but I mean, it's nice to see some horror at the Oscars.
I'll tell you what. I was fucking doing it live. I was
Yeah.
watching the nominations live, and as Nosferatu was getting those noms under the line, I did start to think, is this getting into the Best Picture 10? I
Mm.
thought that was going to maybe happen. I would have loved to see that because, I mean, we are the BO boys, and I
Huh.
would have liked to see a little bit more box office in this Best Picture 10. Because
Mhm.
really, as far as hits go, you got Wicked's a blockbuster, Dune Part 2 is a blockbuster that came out a long time ago. And is that it? Substance is a nice little hit. Brutalist will do Zone of Interest money. But it could have used a Nosferatu, like one more $100 million hit. Complete Unknown, I think, is going to really keep doing well because of this. But I would have liked to see
This.
one more hit. One more hit.
The number of award nominations that movie got, including the James Mangold surprise
Yep.
directorial nomination, I think is really gonna boost its box office for sure. Real quick before we get off of Best Picture, I think, September 5th was one that possibly was going to be nominated that seems to have not, had any headway, and then, Sing Sing.
Sing Sing. Sing Sing is a movie that I think is the problem with this is it came out in August, sort of,
Mhm.
and it's not streaming. It really is like trying to nominate the the People versus Acme movie. It's like you might as well nominate a movie like that isn't being shown anywhere.
Mhm.
Like, how are people supposed to nominate Sing Sing when it doesn't? There's no way to watch it.
Mhm. Mhm.
So just I think that movie was always sunk because it wasn't a Netflix movie and it wasn't a theatrical movie. It basically was some kind of like weird COVID movie or a movie that they were holding the release till 2027, even though it's supposed to be nominated for this year's Oscars. It's that movie, it got the Best Actor nomination, so that's great.
Yeah.
But no
Yeah.
one has seen this movie.
No. No. I mean, well, no, the people that I know who have seen it somehow love it. But this is A24, right? And they completely bungled this.
It's totally bungled. So who do we think is going to win this one? You have been a big Conclave guy for months and
Mm,
months, and
yeah.
I like Conclave a lot. Top, one of my favorite. It's probably my favorite of the movies that have been nominated. I
Mhm.
would say half of The Brutalist is my favorite movie of the year,
Okay.
and then Conclave is, I think, overall my favorite movie of these 10. But do you still think it's going to win? You're a big Conclave is going to win guy. Are you still sipping that Kool-Aid?
Yes.
Wow.
I'm going poll to poll here. I said Conclave
Jesus.
early. I have faith. You don't need. I mean, you've laid out a lot of reasons why not. You've laid out a lot of doubts. And listen, even
No
Christ had his
director.
doubts in the
No
desert. Listen,
director.
I'm talking about Christ here. You're interrupting me while I'm
Okay.
talking about Christ.
Okay. Okay.
Christ had his doubts in the desert. All right. And that's what this is. This is the desert right now. This not getting director is the desert. And it's very easy for me to say, oh, I give up. I give up on Conclave. I'm not going to do that because I have faith. And what I texted back to you is that Argo and Coda both won without Best Director. Okay. And the thing that's going to be good for Conclave is that its hands are clean. These movies are getting dirty with each other. You're
Oh
seeing the
yeah.
Brutalist AI conversation. That was some
Who
almost
leaked it?
who
Who
leaked it.
leaked it? Who leaked it?
And we'll say, listen, that's
Is it Netflix?
probably,
Okay.
yeah. They're playing dirty. They're playing dirty. Absolutely. This is some, dare I say it, some Weinstein stuff.
Is there okay? Here's where I go if I'm the brutalist,
Yeah.
and they could take this one for free. Okay, so Netflix is saying brutalist used AI for like a
Yeah.
voiceover or something. Clearly, that's Oscar campaign hit piece. You come back with, you know who Netflix must have hired to get that piece out there?
Mhm.
Harvey Weinstein.
You say the name.
You say the name. Say that Netflix is contracting him, Harvey Weinstein, third party, to run their publicity, their negative ad campaign.
From prison, right?
He'd be
He's
running it from prison. I think he did run the Shakespeare in Love campaign from prison as well, but at that time, I think he just wanted to be there.
so he's
Um,
sending out pigeons, like trained pigeons that he trained out in
in the
the
rock
prison
yard.
yard,
Yeah.
and he's sending out these brutalist AI leaks.
Yes. Yes. To online journalists. Yes.
Yeah.
I think that is the case that you make if you are the brutalist campaign team.
Yeah.
Is that that's who Netflix is hiring out for these negative ads.
Yeah.
So I think that's the next move they need to make.
I mean, I think that's the thing that could open the door for Conclave, because I don't think Honora has a shot.
Nora's
I
not.
don't think Wicked has a shot because, again, I mean, using your logic, no director. I also think it's just, as box office people, we would love that to win just because it would be a win for box office,
I'd love for it to
but
be in the conversation. Like I think that's
it's
the
not
thing
gonna
is
be.
it's the problem with this telecast is that Wicked fans are going to read all the pundits. They're going to, watch the Ace Eric Weber, his predictions. He's going to say Wicked has no chance. And then the Wicked fans are just not going to watch because, Ace Eric Weber told them it's not going to win.
It's
And
not
I
worth.
think that's a problem for the Oscars is something like Wicked. You should go into the night thinking this could win Best Picture.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
I think it's running ahead of Conclave. I think Conclave to me is
That's
running
no.
fifth.
No, that's not true.
Oh,
I don't think that's true. And, but here's the thing.
here's the
That's what
thing.
you believe.
Yes.
And,
Well, I don't
you're
believe.
somebody who has made.
I'm hinging my persona is on non-belief.
Yeah. I mean, throughout the season, you have made so many claims
Hmm.
as to what's gonna win, and you've moved and you've wavered and you've changed. And that's great. I'm not saying that you shouldn't be able to change your opinion from information that you've gathered, right? Or,
Hmm.
what these pundits say. But for me, like I said, this is a faith-based decision for me.
Mm.
I have faith in Conclave. I thought Ray Fiennes had a chance. I don't believe that to be true anymore. But
Okay.
I think the big prize, I said it, I think Conclave wins. I think I said I thought Ray Fiennes had a shot and I thought he could win.
You thought
But
he was going to win.
I
Let's
thought he was
not
gonna win, but
backtrack.
I feel like he's more of an agent of Christ than the actual figure, which is Conclave. So I
Okay.
think that, yeah.
So in this scenario, though, just to be clear, Conclave is Christ, not you, because
Oh
when you
yeah, no.
okay, because when you gave that analogy about Christ having doubts in the desert, it seemed like in that situation you were the one who was in the desert like Christ, and Conclave was your belief in heaven.
Well, I even said that even him
Even him.
had had doubts,
Right.
right? So that's a powerful statement because I mean, you know, him having doubts means that anybody could have doubts.
Right, right.
And that means I could also have doubts.
Okay, so you're sort of Christ here. Conclave is sort of Christ. There's like dual Christ figures in this analogy. You and
It's
Conclave.
not a perfect analogy, Pat.
Yeah, yeah. Um, so here's how I look at the Best Picture race. In my head, there are almost three pairings. In terms of like typical lanes that someone could win, and a movie can win Best Picture. So you've got, I think, the really critic focused sort of like, almost your Moonlight or your or No Country for Old Men, the ones that rarely win. But I think that's like Brutalist and Honora. And I think of that pair, Honora's done. Brutalist owns that lane.
Mhm.
I think there's the populist sort of like weird but still populist pick. And I think that's Amelia Perez and Wicked. And I think Amelia Perez is the one that's ahead between those. If you're a musical theater, what's the big kind of fun movie? You're going Amelia Perez, not Wicked. That's in the background. And I think the other lane that sometimes win is what's just the good, solid, old fashioned movie that isn't a total bummer. And I guess this movie is a little bit of a bummer, but I'm thinking like Spotlight. If you look at recent winners, like Spotlight is that's a good movie.
Mhm.
It's a good, solid movie. The director
Yeah.
doesn't have to win for that to be the winner.
Yes.
And I think in that pairing, Complete Unknown is ahead of Conclave. I think Complete Unknown, if you're voting for just like what's a movie that I liked a lot and I left it feeling like movies are good, they don't have to be sweeping epics or musicals, just a good movie. I think Complete Unknown is ahead of Conclave in that lane. It's the Spotlight. For Conclave to win, it needed to be Spotlight. And I think it's been out spotlighted by a Complete Unknown.
I mean, I just think there's a perception. I mean, I think there's a perception right now after these nominations that Complete Unknown is stronger than people expected, but that doesn't necessarily mean that it's stronger than something like Conclave that's been in the conversation the whole time. I think this is recency bias here. I mean, the Mangold directorial
That's big.
nomination is big. I think it's farcical, to be honest with you, because I don't think there's anything especially interesting about that movie. But I do think that, like you said, it's a solid meat and potatoes
Yep, it's
movie
the
that would be
Spotlight.
nominated at an old Oscars, right? I think Conclave is the same thing. Conclave is the same sort of like old-fashioned movie that's just a good movie. And, I do agree that those are coupled together. But
It's Coda. I think it's like I'm just looking at the last like 10 years. I'm just going to read off just going backwards the last 10 movies to win Best Picture.
yeah,
Oppenheimer, Everything Everywhere, Coda, Nomadland, Parasite, Green Book, Shape of Water, Moonlight, Spotlight. And I think you look at that, those are the three categories, like Spotlight and Coda and Green Book. That's the lane that either Conclave or A Complete Unknown would be the winner in.
mhm,
And then you've got stuff like Shape of Water, and I would say, yeah, like Shape of Water, maybe even
such a weird
Nomadland or
movie.
Everything Everywhere All at Once. That's the Amelia Perez Wicked lane,
Yeah,
where it's like a big movie that does kind of stink, that a few years later everyone's going to admit stinks. And
yes,
then you get a movie like a Moonlight where it's like that's just the best movie that actually wins, or Parasite. Like that's the rare one where the best movie of that year actually wins Best Picture. So that would be if The Brutalist won. I think that would land in that lane.
yeah, I mean, I think the thing with Wicked, again, I just think Wicked has legitimately no shot, because it's garish looking. I don't think people really appreciate the actual like, how it looks. It's not known for how, beautiful it is. Didn't get a directorial
Yep.
nomination. So, I think that's out of it. I think, like you
I
said,
agree. I
Brutalist
think
and
that's second in that
Anora,
category.
yeah, Brutalist and Anora are sort of like Brutalist is overtaken Anora. I mean,
Yep.
and now we'll get to the acting nominations. Uh, Madison is not even, the front runner anymore.
I mean,
So,
let's get into Best Actress then.
yeah,
So Best Actress in a Leading Role:
yeah,
Cynthia Erivo, Wicked; Carla Sofia Gascon, Amelia Perez, Mikey Madison, Nora; Demi Moore, The Substance; Fernanda Torres, I'm Still Here. Mikey Madison, seemed to be the shoo-in to win
Presumptive
4
favorite.
months ago. Um, I mean, at this point, do you think she's running 4th or 5th?
No, no, but I think there's a clear number one. I think she's still second, definitely. But listen, I've been called the I believe, the great Nick Turner, Nicky T,
Mhm.
dubbed me the speech king,
Yeah, the speech is
right?
king.
The
Yes.
speech is king.
Yeah.
And just because, listen, the speech is king. It
Yeah,
is.
the speech is king.
And Demi's speech at the Golden Globes was a masterclass in creating a narrative that will drive you straight to Oscar gold.
Mhm.
And that one speech centered her as the favorite
Mhm.
because she's got the underdog story, she's got the no one respects me story, she's Hollywood royalty.
Yep.
She's the I've never gotten a nomination for anything,
Yep.
I've given you so much money, I've made so much money for you, Hollywood,
She
but
snuck that
also
in the speech.
but
Snuck that in,
also
which is great.
but also, I've given you so much joy,
Mhm.
with my popcorn movies,
Mhm.
right? And I think that's the thing is that, man, she's coming strong at the right time. And
Mhm.
so, I don't think that movie wins anything else but this. But man, what a story just coming in here at the end and just because everybody was still this morning, you heard people saying, I'm surprised to me got, well, not a surprise to me
Not
after the
surprised. No.
Golden Globes.
No.
No surprise.
Um, yeah, that speech was fantastic. Um, is there anyone so you still think Mikey Madison is second in this list? I mean, that do you think there's anyone else who could win? I mean, it does still feel strange to feel like Demi Moore is a lock at this point,
I'm not saying
considering a
she's a
few months
lock. There's only one lock. There's only
there we'll
one
get to
lock.
the lock. Yeah. Okay, who could upset her here?
I mean,
Because I don't think it's Mikey Madison. I don't think Mikey Madison
no,
could win this.
no, I think it is, Carla Sofia Gascon, if I'm saying that correct.
Yeah.
I think Amelia Perez, I think that's the only other viable choice. I think it's between Demi and Carla, for real.
Yeah.
That's what I think
Is
it
there
is.
is there any chance? Now I have not seen this movie and I honestly don't know what this is about. But now I have to see this movie because it was nominated for Best Picture. I'm still here.
Mhm.
Is there any chance because she did win and I know it's not the same block of voters and the Golden Globes don't matter, but they sort of do because Fernanda Torres did win the Golden Globe in the drama category. Demi
Mhm.
Moore won comedy or musical.
Yeah.
So is she sneakily the spoiler here? Because
Well, we're
people are going to watch that movie. They probably have saw The Substance a few months ago. And now because it's up for Best Picture, you're going to get a lot of people who were never going to watch I'm Still Here will now watch it right before they vote. And there could be a recency bias if so many people watch it, then it's time to vote. They're sort of like, the substance. I saw that in September. She dresses like a monster. I get it. We gave her an
no,
award
this
already.
that movie has so much momentum. The people are discovering it right now. The people in the Academy are discovering this movie as if it's new. The
Okay.
Substance. You know how slow Hollywood is to, like, think like, to really sort of watch something and engage with it.
But that movie was on people's radar, I think, earlier than Fernando Torres's movie. Just because Demi Moore is a bigger star. I do think people are watching that first. And I'm Still Here getting the Best Picture nomination will force people to watch it in a way that if she was only up for actress, I do think a lot of people would have never, a lot of voters would just not have watched it at all.
I think the problem here is that there's too many movies called I'm Still Here.
Well, that's the thing. Do they think they're voting? Well, but that could help. That could help in this year. Do people think they're voting for Fernanda Torres because she's playing Bob Dylan in a movie? And I think
Well,
that could help.
Well, I'm Still Here is the name of the Joaquin Phoenix I'm a Rapper Now movie.
Oh, what was the name of the movie where everyone played Dylan at the same time?
Um, that is
I
what
thought
is
that
that?
was I thought that was I'm Still Here or I'll Be There.
No. I'm looking it up, but
I'll Be There for You, of course, is the Friends theme song, so that could help sway people towards Fernando Torres.
yeah. So here's my thing: is that do you think that anybody wants to vote for a Joaquin Phoenix, uh, uh, faux documentary? I mean, I think that's bad that that movie is called the same thing.
I think
That's
people
bad.
I think people have forgotten that that movie exists. Okay, so the Dylan
Well,
movie,
they're
the
good.
Dylan
They're
movie
good.
was called I'm Not There. And
Okay,
I think there's a higher chance of positive confusion where people think Fernando Torres is playing Dylan in I'm Not There more so than they think Fernando Torres is actually Joaquin Phoenix and I'm Still
but
Here.
then Pat, that's splitting the Dylan vote. That's not good. That's splitting the Dylan vote because then what Dylan do they vote for? I think that's bad.
Both.
I think
They vote for both
ChatGPT.
Dylans.
If you put in ChatGPT, I'm Still Here, you're probably going to get the Joaquin Phoenix movie, and people are going to just give up. I think that is a bad title for a film. It's overused, and I think that's gonna be the downfall. Honestly, that's the downfall there. I don't think
The
that
title
Fernando
is the
Torres
downfall.
has a shot.
They might think what was the name of that Kenneth Lonergan movie with Mark Ruffalo and Laura Linney? Was that
You
I'll
can
Be
count
There?
on me.
You could count on me. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. We need a moratorium on me and, sort of like statements that are promises of me,
Yeah.
or here or there. Like we've got to, this has got to be the last one for a while.
Mhm.
Um, so yeah, I think we both kind of agree that Mikey Madison has no shot, and if Demi Moore is going to lose, it's not going to be to her.
Yes.
Yeah, Sophia Carla Gascon, I guess could win if Amelia Perez just becomes, you know, Titanic,
But
where it gets
here's the thing about Amelia Perez. It's Netflix, right? And
okay,
Netflix famously
famously,
gets a lot of noms and does not win
right?
anything.
Could this be The Irishman?
So that's what I'm saying is
Yeah.
that we've been through this rodeo before. So why would
Hmm.
we assume that all of a sudden people are gonna love to vote for a Netflix movie when it comes down to actually giving them awards? Nominating them is one thing. Giving them awards is another thing.
Well, it wins. They do win acting and directing awards. Roma got the best director. Um, uh, uh, they Marriage Story got an acting award. Laura Dern won the acting award for that. Like they have won Oscars. Best Picture is the one they never won.
Yes.
I mean, just back to Best Picture. What is Amelia Perez going to be the movie? Scorsese couldn't do it. Noah Baumbach couldn't do it. Uh, they've hired every single giant director to come in. Spike Lee couldn't do it. The what was the cowboy movie the Kirsten Dunst cowboy movie that didn't win, that Coda beat a few years ago.
Oh,
The Catherine
Power of the Dog.
Power of the Dog uh, uh, couldn't do it. Why is Amelia Perez going to be the movie where Hollywood finally just says, this is the year Netflix wins Best Picture? Like, that's why I lean brutalist, because I just don't think Amelia Perez is going to be the movie that finally wins Netflix a Best Picture.
Conclave sneaking in. That's the thing. That's the thing.
Complete
It's the
unknown.
only thing you can have faith in.
Complete unknown. All right. So Best
It
Actor.
is.
This
You're
is
right. It is a complete unknown at the moment. It is a complete unknown at the moment. Who will win Best Picture? You're right when you say that.
Best Actor is
It's
Best Actor
Chalamet and Brody.
Chalamet and Brody. I mean, Coleman Domingo, Ray Fiennes, and Sebastian Stan for The Apprentice got the nom nom nom. This one, I know this rankles you. You're not a Stan fan.
I
You're
don't.
not a.
I mean, he brings nothing.
He got the nom nom nom.
You
Got the
know,
nom nom nom. He's a
it was
guy
it
who's
was
got a nom
thin
nom
soup.
nom.
It was thin soup this year for best actor. It's thin soup.
It's thin, yeah, because it seems like the guy he beat out was Daniel Craig.
And nobody loved that performance or that movie. Everybody
Yeah.
really wanted to, and nobody did.
Yes. People really wanted to nominate Daniel Craig for Best Actor in a Knives Out movie. And I think that with this movie, they were trying to pretend that's what they were doing. And then at the last moment, they were like, we're only pretending. It's not actually
Yeah.
Knives Out.
Yeah, I think that was always sort of tentative. So I think that, it kills me that, something like All of Us Strangers came out last year
Okay.
and you couldn't get Andrew Scott into this top 5 last year, but you end up this year with friggin' Sebastian Stan, that
So
mannequin.
you got what's his character in the Marvel movies? He's Captain America's
He's Winter
brother.
Soldier.
The Winter Soldier. Okay, does this Sebastian Stan nom 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 help Thunderbolts Asterix in a few months? They're gonna say we got Florence Pugh, Oscar nominee. We've got Sebastian Stan, Oscar nominee. We've got
That doesn't
David
mean
Harbour,
anything.
played Santa Claus in a movie recently. I mean, it's something else they could throw on this poster.
Um, that means nothing to the Bazinga Bros.
Okay.
It means nothing to them. Oscars mean nothing to them.
I mean, Downey wins an Oscar and he comes back, to play Doctor Doom.
But that doesn't have anything to do that's not the reason why people are going to be excited that he's Doom.
I mean, I don't know. I think I'm curious to see if Marvel changes any of the advertising. Puts an asterisk next to Sebastian Stan's name, and then underneath there's another asterisk that says Oscar nominee. I mean, we'll see. It's good. I say good for him. I haven't seen this movie. I haven't seen The Apprentice, but I will watch it now. I had no interest in watching it if
Not
neither
watching
of them got nominated. You
Won't
will
watch
not
it.
watch it. You won't watch it.
No. No.
Um, and so they both got nominated for that movie. I think they, and we're not a politics podcast, huh?
Huh?
But I think what happened with The Apprentice getting both those acting nom nom noms is they rode the perfect wave of voters who wanted to vote their, we don't like Trump, so we're voting for Sebastian Stan. But then I do think there were voters, because, I haven't seen this movie, but I assume it doesn't say Trump is a great guy. I think that's the tone of this movie. Again, I haven't seen it yet.
Yeah.
But I think there's also voters who were like, hey, I like that they got a good looking guy playing Trump. I think a James Woods and a Dennis Quaid were like, oh, Sebastian Stan's great looking guy playing Trump. I like him. I like that. Give him the nom nom nom. So I think they were able to really ride both types of Hollywood voters. I think, and I think he's an Academy member. I think Hulk Hogan probably did vote for Sebastian Stan to get this nomination. That's what I'm saying. But I also think that Hollywood folks who don't like Trump voted for him because they don't like him. I think Sebastian Stan was able to get both votes there.
I mean, I think the real winner here is Briarcliff. The
Yes.
company who bought this film, who also bought Magazine Dreams. And will be
Wow.
releasing that next year. So who knows what happens?
So this is a Briarcliff Entertainment release.
Oh yeah, buddy.
We
You better believe
cannot
it.
we cannot look down at Briarcliff anymore.
Mm-mm.
Wow. Um, that's huge for them. So, I mean, yeah, congratulations to Briarcliff. Um, it'd be shocking if Magazine Dreams is up for Oscars next year, but now you can't count it out because of Briarcliff.
Other movies that Briarcliff has put out: Frank Grillo's Werewolves,
Okay.
a documentary about Paul Simon. Jonathan Major's Magazine Dreams is coming in March.
Wow.
So here we go. I
Do you
mean,
think do you
are
think
they the new hot player on the block?
I mean, yeah, are they the new Neon? Um, do you think Magazine Dreams will be a movie that releases in 1,000 theaters and Chris Klemmer of Barstool will have to see it before he
Um,
reneges on his promise to see every movie that releases in 1,000 theaters?
I mean, yeah, because I think it's a moot point because by then, March, he's going to be way done
No, he
with.
said he's going to renege probably more like April. So I do
Okay.
think March, if it comes out in 1,000 theaters, he would have to see it because he would not
Yeah.
have reneged yet.
Then he will have to see Magazine Dreams.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. So Sebastian Stan got that fifth slot. Obviously, he's not going to win. So the only two people have a chance of winning Best Actor. It's Timmy versus Adrien Brody.
Yes.
Timmy's hosting SNL tomorrow night. What do you
Okay.
think he has to do to win?
Well, here's the thing. I think this is where he wins.
Wow.
This is where he wins because he is also the musical guest,
Mm-hmm.
which is very bold. And so I think what happens is he's been a very good SNL host his past 2 times.
Yep.
And this is the most important one because he's been promoting Dylan. He's been promoting this movie everywhere. You see him
Mm-hmm.
everywhere. He's doing everything. SNL live television. He goes out there, he charms you with his comedy chops. Then he goes up there and he sings like Dylan, right? I mean, I
Mm-hmm.
think that's the consensus is that he is going to go up there and he's going to do a song as Dylan. Now, the rumor is, and there's no substantiating this, who knows,
Mm-hmm.
that this is really just a sort of smokescreen to have the real Dylan show up and actually be the musical guest. And that's possible.
What if the smokescreen was actually Chalamet is going to be the musical guest
And
solo,
Dylan's hosting.
and Bob Dylan is the host, and that's your smokescreen? Is that Chalamet appears in no sketches, and he performs music, original techno music that he wrote as a child, and
Yeah, I
that
mean, I
is
think
what
he's
he's
more of a
performing.
rap fan than anything. So he would definitely, I think he would be doing rap.
Okay, you don't think
So
it's because I don't know. I could see him just really shocking everyone where he doesn't know how to act. He doesn't even rap. He doesn't sing Dylan songs. He just does techno music
this
and
is sort
just
of like, remember when Ving Rhames gave um, Jack Lemmon was it an Emmy or a Golden Globe? What was it?
he gave him an award he just won, and he had Jack Lemmon come up,
It
and it was
wasn't an
very
AVN
nice.
award.
It was
It's
very
definitely not an AVN.
it might have been. I feel like it was an award he won for a cable movie. I mean, obviously it wasn't. We know Ving Rhames doesn't have an Oscar. I mean, he's a great actor, but he doesn't have an Oscar. So it must have been an Emmy.
It
Must
was
have,
a Golden Globe.
wow. Um,
So for a miniseries role in Don King, Only in America. Uh, yeah, Lemon was a nominee for his role as juror number 8 in 12 Angry Men.
right.
So he gave his award. So I mean,
Directed by. Do you remember who directed that 12 Angry Men remake?
I don't.
I think it was Clooney. Wasn't it when Clooney was doing like TV, like live television uh adaptations?
That's a great question.
It's a great question that has to be answered right now. And it was directed by William
William
Friedkin.
Friedkin.
William Friedkin
You
did
know, that
direct it.
happens a lot.
Yeah.
The people get those two confused.
Yes. Yeah. Right. William Friedkin directed that movie, and Clooney directed The Exorcist. Yes.
Yeah.
Um.
But yeah, so I think, I mean, listen, what could happen is, ceding the spotlight to your elder
Mm-hmm.
can go a long way. I mean, I think if that's the way that it goes, is that, you know, Dylan does his best Timothy Chalamet,
Mm-hmm.
right? I mean, I think you don't even play it as if it's Dylan hosting. Dylan pretends he's Timothy Chalamet, and Timothy Chalamet pretends that he's Dylan.
Oh
So
wow.
he comes out and Dylan is dressed like Timothy Chalamet
Yep. Yep.
in the baggy pants and the belt and the puffy like North Face and whatever.
Yeah.
He
Yeah. Yeah.
comes out,
Like the
he's
little
talking about how
bracelets. Yeah. The
he's
hacky
talking about
sack. Yeah.
how everybody's, talking about his dating life and I mean, he acts like he's Chalamet.
I mean, Bob Dylan comes out and he says, you know, I love hanging out with Kylie Jenner.
Yeah, yeah.
Maybe
And
even does a thing where like she's in the front row, he goes over, quick kiss with Kylie Jenner. Yeah,
yeah, yeah. Yeah, I mean, that full on makeout.
yeah, full on makeout.
Full on makeout with Kylie Jenner.
Right.
And I mean, that and I think that does so much more than him just straight ahead uh hosting.
Yeah.
But then he does the musical guest. And then of course Dylan as Chalamet comes up, you know what I'm going to say, comes
Okay.
up, what's written on his chest?
It's soy bomb.
Soy bomb. He comes up and he's
Yeah.
flailing around
Yep.
like soy bomb in
So
front of Chalamet
yep.
because
As
again,
Dylan.
as
So
Dylan.
it's Dylan, Bob Dylan as
Yes.
Chalamet,
Yes.
but as Soy Bomb coming on stage while Timothy Chalamet as Dylan
Yeah.
is the musical performance.
Because in SNL, obviously Chalamet's the host, so he's playing parts. So
Right.
he is not playing Chalamet in that moment.
He's playing Soy Bomb.
He's playing Soy Bomb.
Dylan
So
as Chalamet as Soy
Dylan
Bomb.
as Chalamet is then playing Soy Bomb because he is the host
Right.
of the show, and it's a comedy bit.
Right. If that happens,
When that happens.
when Bob Dylan as Timothy Chalamet hosts SNL this Saturday night, we're only
Yeah.
days away.
Yeah.
And then Timothy Chalamet as Bob Dylan is only the musical performer.
Yes.
And then Bob Dylan as Chalamet comes up as Soy Bomb to interrupt Chalamet as Dylan as the musical guest.
Yeah.
That is the scenario in which Timothy Chalamet wins the Oscar race over Adrien Brody.
And that here's the thing about Adrien Brody.
Here's the thing.
He can't get equal time on SNL. He's banned. Right?
What if he was to sneak in? So you've got that happens in the first musical performance. Remember, there's 2 musical performances. So second musical performance, 12:45, Bob Dylan as Chalamet on stage says, once again, Bob Dylan. And Timothy Chalamet as Bob Dylan is about to start playing. But then who jumps out in front of him this time?
Jamaican Man.
It's Adrien Brody as his famous Jamaican Man character that got him banned from SNL. Does that change the race?
Makes him the heel. It makes him the Oscar heel. He's stealing thunder from a younger competitor that people like, and he's stealing the spotlight from Bob Dylan, a what is he, a Nobel laureate? What did he won one of the most prestigious American awards for
Mark
being
Twain Prize for humor,
being
maybe?
an arty farty guy.
He's probably a Kennedy Center honors. I'm sure he's got that. He might be in the Baseball Hall of Fame.
It's not an AVN. What is it?
What if?
Nobel
What?
Prize for Literature. He's a Presidential Medal of Freedom
Right.
winner. Nobel Prize for Literature. Kennedy
Right.
Center honors.
Right.
Right?
He got that whole speech in Dangerous Minds where Michelle Pfeiffer talked about how Bob Dylan was poetry.
Yes.
That was huge. What if? Okay. What if? Second musical performance.
Okay.
So Chalamet as Dylan's about to perform.
Yes.
Bob Dylan as Chalamet, who is the host,
Yes.
goes up to introduce him.
Uh-huh.
But he's
dressed as Jamaican Man.
Is dressed as Jamaican Man. He's dressed as Adrien Brody's famous Jamaican Man character from SNL. He does the whole word for word. He does the Adrien Brody Jamaican Man bit, tosses it to Chalamet as Dylan without having told him that was going to happen.
Yeah.
Does that change the race? Because then at that point, Bob Dylan as Chalamet has, I would say, very publicly endorsed Adrien Brody by dressing as Jamaican Man.
No, he's buried him. Pat, he buried him.
No, I think that
he's buried him. He's made him look like a fool.
I think he said
he's buried him.
If I could do it, if me, Bob Dylan as Chalamet, could do this Jamaican Man character, why are we so angry that Adrien Brody
did
the Jamaican Man character?
Let's
satire. Consider Adrien Brody. No, I think it's
satire. Endorsement. He's taking a piss. He's having a laugh. That's having a laugh. I think I can't believe you're interpreting that as anything other than burying him. Because then Adrien Brody's one of his most embarrassing moments next to assaulting a past winner on stage, which he did with Halle Berry when he won his first Best Actor. His second most embarrassing thing he's ever done is Jamaican Man character on SNL. And here's Dylan as Chalamet taking a piss on it. That is burying him. He doesn't come to the awards. Adrien Brody does not show up at the Oscars if that happens. We're going to see a picture of Adrien Brody. We're going to see his shirtless Men's Health picture or whatever that magazine was.
Yeah.
That's the picture that they're going to show at the Oscars because the boy ain't going to show up. He's embarrassed. He's buried.
I cannot wait. And we can't stress this enough. This is live national television, Saturday Night Live, this Saturday night, to see all of this play out, which it will. I mean, this is how it's going to play out. And then we will know at 1:03 a.m.
who won the
Saturday
Oscar.
night.
Who's going to win the Oscar?
Who's going to win the Oscar?
Yeah.
We're going to know.
To
seal the deal.
Okay.
What if, end of the night, the goodbyes,
mm-hmm.
Bob Dylan as Chalamet, who has hosted the show, appeared in every sketch and did a Weekend Update character as well. He comes out to say the goodbyes. He says, I'd like to thank our musical guest, Bob Dylan. Chalamet as Bob Dylan. He's, clasping his hand. He's bowing. Mm-hmm. He's vibrant but feeble because Chalamet as Bob Dylan is also in his 80s.
So he's playing old Dylan.
Yes.
In this scenario.
He's playing old Dylan in the Good Nights. Yes. He ages over the course of the show. I think that's how you have to play it. But Bob Dylan as Chalamet, who is the host, what does he come out wearing? Playing Chalamet as the host in the Good Nights of SNL. What is he wearing?
Well, he's wearing the famous hoodie.
He's wearing the legendary hoodie, which famously, back in March of 2021, to rally against Warner Brothers putting Legendary Pictures Dune in simultaneous theaters, but also on HBO Max.
Day and Date is what that's called.
Day and Date. Timothy Chalamet came out, and we can't stress this enough, on live national television wearing the famous legendary hoodie to support the Dune production company. I think that is what caps this Best Actor race, is when Bob Dylan as Chalamet comes out in that legendary hoodie for the good nights of SNL this weekend. That seals the deal. Anyone who was wavering, they're voting for Timothy Chalamet for Best Actor.
And the other thing is I mean, people are forgetting Dune 2 is also up for Best Picture. It
Right.
has 0 chance. It's probably number 10 of all those, but it's still something that Chalamet was a part of. So
Yep.
wearing the legendary hoodie, even if it's Dylan as Chalamet, still makes sense.
Yes. Yeah. I think that's the capper. I cannot wait to see it. This is I mean, SNL 50, and this could be perhaps the most iconic moment in the history of the show.
Mm-hmm.
So that's going to be big. Um,
Will this be a better episode than the Jason Priestley Teenage Fan Club episode, which is, of course, the greatest SNL episode ever?
I mean, that one had the Sprockets dating game. I mean, again, it depends on the sketches. It depends on the sketches.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I think though it's still going to be hard to top an episode that had it had the New Kids on the Block on Corsinio.
We sing our own songs. We
dress ourselves.
Yeah.
You know, it had the 90210 parody.
Give me your keys.
Give me your keys. Change the zip code. It had a Hildo. Yeah, it's. I don't know if you could ever touch the Jason Priestley SNL episode.
And the figure skating cold open.
Yeah. It's. I think that might be an impossible task, but the fact that we're even having that conversation, that this episode hosted by Bob Dylan as Timothy Chalamet, with Timothy Chalamet as Bob Dylan as a musical guest, we're even considering it may top the Jason Priestley Teenage Fan Club episode.
Yeah.
Means Timothy Chalamet is the clear favorite to win the Oscar for Best Actor.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that is clear to any Oscar pundit right now. Supporting actor, Kieran Culkin's going to win this, right?
Yep. Bring out the tables.
He will make a pro wrestling reference.
Absolutely.
That is a guarantee. I mean, I don't know if I've ever told this, because I mean, he wasn't an Oscar nominee.
He wasn't even an Emmy winner.
Wasn't even Emmy winner when this happened. But at this point now, I could say that myself, and I'm not going to out his name, of course, he's got to be kept secret, but myself and Deep Popcorn, our Hollywood insider, we can now say we shared a cab back from the Nassau County Coliseum to a Long Island Railroad train station with Academy Award nominee Kieran Culkin.
Yeah.
About 10, 15 years ago, we were exiting a pro wrestling event, a WWE Raw, hosted by Stone Cold Steve Austin, back when they had guest hosts for episodes of Raw. It was a bad era of that show. We were leaving. That arena, you have to get a cab to get to the train station. It's not really great setup. And we're getting in a cab that we hailed, and two people say, "Hey, could we get in with you?" And it is Macaulay Culkin, and it is now Oscar nominee Kieran Culkin.
Yeah.
Macaulay sits up front, so you could be left alone.
Yep.
We sat in the back with now Academy Award nominated Kieran Culkin. Talked about the show.
Yep.
Good guy.
Yeah.
He was very excited that Stone Cold Steve Austin gave a bunch of stunners that night. We were all excited about that. We get to the train station. I pull out my wallet, and Macaulay's like, no. He pays the $7 or $8.
What a mensch.
I'm sure he threw on a generous tip on
Of
top of that.
Of course he did.
We all get out. Even though we're all getting on the same train, we all sort of were like, all right, now we go our separate ways, different parts of the platform. But I could say now that story means something. Yesterday it didn't mean shit because he wasn't nominated for an Oscar yet.
He was just an Emmy winner.
He was just an Emmy winner. and a Golden Globe winner.
Yeah.
So again, doesn't mean anything. But now I could say I was in a taxi cab from a wrestling event, from an arena to a Long Island Railroad station with an Academy Award nominated Kieran Culkin.
And
So,
listen, if he wins,
if he
this
wins,
changes.
that's yeah. If he wins, that story becomes a book.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right now it's a story on a podcast because he's only a nominee. If he wins, it is a book deal.
Cabin with Culkins.
Yeah. Yeah. That story becomes a book deal. So I, of
Yeah.
course, am rooting for Kieran Culkin to win because then we're talking book deal for that story.
I think at this point, it'd be shocking if anybody else does.
Yeah. Who your gun to your head, someone's like, you got to put, there's a gun to your head, but also they're handing you a sack of money. This is the scenario I'm giving you. So someone's got a gun to your head and a sack of money, and they're saying, you've got to put $1 million, the sack of money, on someone for best supporting actor. And you're like, and they're like, but it can't be Kieran Culkin. It has to be someone else.
Wait, if I lose, do I get shot?
No. The gun is there just to force you to put the money on someone else. They're not going to shoot you unless you just don't bet. The gun is there to ensure that you bet the money they're giving you. But it can't be Kieran Culkin. That is the other thing the gun is enforcing.
I don't feel like the gun is necessary because it's not my money and I don't have to win the bet.
They're the ones with the sack of money. They're
Okay.
coming in armed. Yeah.
Okay.
You don't hand someone a sack of money without a gun. When you're these guys. But believe me, I know these guys. They're not handing you that sack of money without a gun to your head.
Well, looking at these nominees, Yura Borisov, Edward Norton for A Complete Unknown, Guy Pearce for The Brutalist, Jeremy Strong for The Apprentice. Eddie Norton.
Yep.
Just because the strength of this movie. I mean, the
Yeah.
fact that we're going to get to it, but Monica Barbaro got a supporting actress nomination for this movie. I think he's the smart money. Guy Pearce sort of missed in a few places.
He missed SAG.
Yeah, and that I think that speaks volumes.
Yeah.
Jeremy Strong, the nomination is the win for him, and this Yura Borisov, come on. Who are we kidding?
Yeah, I agree. The thing with Norton is this is his 4th Oscar nomination.
Yeah.
And he was a guy who is both had a great career, but also has that sort of didn't fulfill his promise, his early promise, because he was supposed to be the next De Niro. That
he was supposed to have already won at least one.
Yes. He was supposed to be our new De Niro, Pacino, just the guy who his face is next to acting.
Mm-hmm.
And even though he's got 4 nominations, he didn't become that. And so I do wonder if there is a little bit of a push of, hey, maybe Ed Norton should finally win an Oscar.
And he's sort of playing against type here.
Right. Because he's playing a nice, calm guy.
He's playing a nice, calm guy who is sort of, at the end of it, you sort of realize he's a villain in his own way, but I think it's a really fun, nuanced performance. And you're looking at his Oscar history, 2014 Birdman, that nomination was a comeback for him.
Yes.
Right? I mean, we're talking 10 years ago. So he really hasn't done much in this. I mean, this is his second comeback as a guy who people might award.
Wait, and he's got American History X was the first one, right? Because he didn't get did he get Primal Fear? I guess Primal Fear supporting actor, he must have got that.
Yeah, so
all right, my guess is, I'm not looking it up. My guess is he got the Primal Fear supporting actor. He then must have got a best lead for American History X. So those must have been close together in the late 90s. And then the drought to Birdman. And then this is the 4th one after Birdman. Is that it?
Yeah. So best supporting actor in 97.
Right.
And let's see
And
what
then
was
American History X must have been 98 or 99, right?
99 Best Actor, Best
Yeah.
Supporting for Birdman,
Right.
and then now 2025.
Yeah. So I think, yeah, I think of in that scenario, gun to head, as someone's handing you a bag of money and you can't bet on Kieran Culkin, it's Ed Norton's who you have to say. There's
Yeah,
no one else.
yeah.
Um, no Stanley Tucci in here, which again, I know you have faith, but I think a conclave that's winning Best Picture, Tucci's in here.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
But okay, let's go to supporting actress because they did get Isabella Rossellini.
Isabella Rossellini, and listen, this is Lynch kicking the bucket. That's a big deal for her.
Do
She
we
can go
think that
around.
helped?
I think it helps. I think she's sad, and I think people are gonna wanna make her happy.
Oh, you're saying not in the nomination because the voting was closed when the great David Lynch legend kicked the bucket.
No, no, I
Um,
think I think now she goes around
yeah,
and she says, "I'm so sad."
I'm so sad. Yeah, I'm so sad, and you like when I'm sad in David Lynch movies, like
Yeah.
her in Blue Velvet. It was her being sad, and she gets to sort of live that character now
Yeah.
because he died. Uh, yeah. So actress, supporting actress. I know Zoe Saldana is supposed to be the lock.
Mhm.
And hey, listen, if over the next month she wins SAG and she wins the BAFTA then she probably is.
Yeah.
But I think this is more open than supporting actor. I think
Yes.
she could lose this depending on how much people actually don't like this movie.
I think she could win a lot of precursors and still lose.
Okay, so who wins this if she doesn't win?
I'd like to say Isabella, but I don't see that. I mean, I
I
do
don't
think
see it.
Monica Barbaro, has a shot.
Wow.
Ariana, I do not think has a shot. Felicity, I do not think has a shot. But I would say it's Zoe, Monica, and then, Isabella.
Yeah,
That's my 3.
I mean, supporting actress, they do sometimes give it to an ingenue here. You know, famously Marissa Tomei, of course. You know, this is where Anne Hathaway has her Oscar. She won it for Les Mis. And if that's the case, then it is a Monica Barbaro or an Ariana Grande. I mean, I think Ariana Grande is still a possibility here. Because if you watch, I know you haven't seen that movie, but she's got this very supporting, funny character. You know, her stuff lands, and I think if people don't want to vote for Amelia Perez, I think that's the other one they'd go to. But yeah, I mean, Monica Barbaro. I mean, that's your Marissa Tomei. That's your one that is just we want to reward the ingenue.
Mhm.
Um,
And not
but
Ingenue Ellis.
yeah, yeah. I mean, Zoe Saldana, it makes sense. She's obviously the favorite. A lot of people have made a lot of money off of movies where she's had, you know, green and blue and purple face paint on.
Yeah.
So I'm sure she's super well liked.
Yep.
But this one feels like the least locky of the locks. Or means, you know, Kieran Culkin feels a lot safer than Zoe Saldana.
I mean, I don't think there's any locks other than him.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not seeing any other locks. We're not talking locks,
Yeah.
right?
Not yet. I mean, we'll see again in a couple of months if all the precursors go with the same 4 people, then it's over.
Of course.
Um, I think that so just looking ahead at some of the precursors, Adrien Brody, he won the Golden Globe and then gave, I would say, a pretty bad speech.
Yes.
or at least a mediocre speech.
Yeah.
Um, I think Timmy is going to win SAG, and then we're going to go into that race with it wide open. Um, Obviously, if Kieran Culkin wins SAG, then it's pretty over there. Um, I'd like to see someone else win SAG for supporting actress. I mean, I think that's where Ariana Grande has to win. That's the thing. I think she could win SAG because I think you got
No,
that voting
she's a
body.
musician. No, she's a musician. They're not going to vote for her.
It's a lot of musical theater kids. I think SAG is the one she could win for sure.
Well, we haven't talked about director.
Okay,
I think
let's
that's
talk
the
about
only
director.
one that we need to talk about other
Yeah.
than original song, because we got to talk about this Diane Warren thing.
Okay.
And we can get that over quickly. Directing, you've got the Amelia Perez director. You got Sean Baker for Nora. You got Brady Corbett, My Brother from Another Mother. You've got the Substance director. You got James Mangold, A Complete Unknown.
All right. So you got Jacques Audiard and Coralie Farge,
Yeah,
Amelia Perez
good.
in The Substance.
Good for you. Good for
I've been
you.
to Europe. Just, not so. Just I've been to Europe. That's
Have
all.
you now?
Yeah. And, people have come over to me in Europe. Big fan of yours. We're big fans of you in Europe. So yeah, that's
Big
happened.
fan
So
of
I
the
should say
show. So fan of me by proxy.
they specifically, said I'm a big fan of yours.
Well,
So
because
in
you were
Europe.
there.
Right,
And the
right.
yours
And
is
that's who they were a
collective
fan of.
yours, as in us.
Right. You could definitely, I think, go to Europe someday and then see if that happens to you, and then you'll know who they
No,
were a fan
I
of.
won't do it. No thanks. I like America.
So you like America, but we got some foreign appeal here in Best Director. If this is USA versus the world in
Yeah.
directing, who do you bet on? Are you betting on USA or the world?
Oh, well, I mean, it's 3-2 USA. Unless Brady Corbett is Canadian or some shit.
I think he's American. I mean, he was in he's the Egg Boy. I feel like the Egg Boy is a Midwestern guy. Um I
Where are
think
you
you could
from,
take
Brady?
Sean
Scottsdale,
Baker.
Arizona. Him being born in Arizona makes so much sense.
Makes so much sense. Because the rest of his life, I think, has been trying to run away from being from Arizona.
Yeah.
It's been an act against having been born in Arizona. So I think Sean Baker running fifth here. I think
Done.
the least chance of winning is Sean Baker. I think any of the other four could actually win. I do think, sure, we could say who's a favorite, but I think other than Sean Baker, everyone here actually has a shot to win this.
Mm-hmm.
I do think that um Coralie Farjad for The Substance could actually win this award, even though The Substance is not going to win Best Picture. I
Mm-hmm.
think there could be a real heavy split where someone could win Best Director and their movie has no shot to win Best Picture.
Yeah, I mean, James Mangold has not been nominated for director ever, other than this time. This is his first. I
Right.
mean, all the directors are newbies, first timers,
Yep.
which is nice. That
Um,
way, a new person's going to win.
yep.
I do think. I mean, everybody thinks Brady is the front runner. I think he's again. He said he's a sourpuss, uh,
Pillface.
pill face.
Yep.
And I think, again, that's okay for me in what I do, but it's not okay for him in what he does. So I think that's going to catch up with him. So I do believe that his face is going to lose this for him.
Wow.
His reading off an iPhone is going to lose it for him. I don't think I'd like to go back and see if anybody who's read a speech off an iPhone in a precursor award has won an Oscar.
Hmm.
I don't think they have.
I
I don't
mean,
think anybody has. I think it's lost more Oscars than it's won.
yeah.
This
Wi-
iPhone. No one wants to see you on an iPhone.
will he get another chance to win an award and not do a speech on an iPhone? Or do you think the Golden Globe speech, that was his one shot that mattered? He read off the iPhone. He sunk himself. There's no redemption.
The only way he gets it back is if he either goes bigger and pulls out an iPad
Right.
or goes smaller and reads it off a razor.
Right.
Like he pulls out a flip
A
phone
flip
and
phone.
everybody laughs
Right.
and he's
Right.
reading it off the flip phone.
And then he's just like, yeah. And that's why you got to watch it on YouTube to see what I'm doing. He pulls out the flip phone and then he's like, I get it.
I get it.
I get it, guys. I
I
know
heard
what I
it.
did. I heard it.
I heard all the comments.
Message
And I think
received.
he does it. I mean, that's the thing is that could be his bit.
Right.
If he's straight faced, like, because the thing about him, he could be funny if he makes that a bit and doesn't, and just is as serious as he is normally. But he's
Right.
pulling out several different phones every time he wins. So he did the
Right.
iPhone, then he does the Razor, then he maybe does the iPad, then he maybe does a rotary phone somehow.
Right. He does a Fisher Price phone.
Yeah, like he's
Toy
reading, like
Fisher
his
Price
speech
with a face on it.
is glued to the bottom of a Fisher Price phone.
Right.
Like that
Right.
sort of thing is funny, and I think
Yeah.
if he does it with the same seriousness and the you know the sourpuss pill faced manner in which he purports himself, I think
Yeah.
that could win people over. Would win me over.
Right. Right. And he's got to wear that fucking hat, same one that you have on right now, that you always have on.
Yeah.
Um, he's not going to have any awards opportunities because DGA, if he wins that, that's basically the Oscar voting will have ended by the time DGA's speech happens. So even if he does rotary phone, flip phone, Fisher Price phone, that bit won't affect the Oscar voting. He'd have to do it. And I think this is the week for it. He'd have to do it on Saturday Night Live this weekend. It would have to be Bob Dylan as Timothy Chalamet hosting, with Timothy Chalamet as Bob Dylan as a musical guest.
What about BAFTA? Is he not up for BAFTA?
Yeah, but none of that. The speeches won't matter at that point. The voting will be closed.
Yeah.
You know, he needs to do this earlier. He needs to do this, nip this phone speech thing in the bud now.
Yeah.
I think SNL doing like a guest appearance.
Well, he has to do, did you say he has to do an update piece?
Do an update piece. Either
Okay.
an update piece or some kind of runner, like when Gumby got shot.
They're not going to give him that much time.
You don't think they give Brady
No.
Corbet as himself a Gumby
No.
got shot style runner on SNL 50? You know, one of the last episodes before the 50th anniversary show. You don't think Brady Corbett, director of The Brutalist, gets that?
No, I think he definitely, I think he gets an update piece maybe.
Right. Right. I mean, the celeb update piece, there's not as many of them as you think. You know, of course, it's Howard Stern. The weekend Private Parts came out.
Mm-hmm.
You know, there's a few. And I think Brady Corbett needs that to do his phone bit to overcome the damage he did with his phone speech at the Golden Globes. 100%.
Yeah.
All right. So then who do you think wins Best Director? Who's your pick?
Oh, I mean, it's so up in the air at this point. I think this
is it
one
Jacques Audiard? Is it Amelia Perez? I think Mangold could win the Oscar. I think James Mangold could win Best Director.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I think, like you said, Sean Baker's 5.
Done.
I think everybody else is sort of in the mix here.
Everyone's in the mix. I'm really starting to feel like could be Mangold or it could be The Substance. I think that Coralie Farjad could win this Oscar, and we'll see where it goes, but I'm kind of leaning that way.
I think that's a little optimistic, but I don't think they don't have a chance for
Yeah.
sure.
Um,
Last thing we got to talk about is this Diane Warren thing.
it's a debacle.
This long-standing prank, this horrible elder abuse
Mm-hmm.
that we talked about last year. And the problem here is if she was aware enough to know she has no shot every year, if she played along with this prank, then I'd be okay. Go
Mm-hmm.
ahead and do it till the cows come home. She would laugh and smile, but she always thinks she has a shot.
I know.
And that's what's so heartbreaking. And I think this is gonna the older she gets, the more feeble-minded she gets. You know, she lost her beach house, okay? She's not gonna be in the best mind for another loss, right? She's thinking, "Maybe I win this Oscar. Maybe that's what God intended." When God, when God takes a beach house, he gives you an Oscar. That might be what's in her maniac mind.
So she's nominated. Diane Warren is nominated for a movie called The 6888.
What is
Um,
that? What even is that?
uh,
That doesn't I think that's a fake movie.
it is a Netflix movie. I'm looking at its Wikipedia page. It's a 2024 American war film written and directed by Tyler Perry. So okay,
Oprah
so this
Winfrey
is
is in this.
Oprah Winfrey is in this movie. I mean, the I mean
Kerry Washington is in this movie.
it is incredible the things that are on Netflix that no one has ever heard of. But she wrote a song called "The Journey," music and lyric by Diane Warren from the 6888. She's got the nomination, and I know she believes she could win, and she shouldn't. But is it crazy that I believe she could win? Are
Oh,
you saying it's crazy? Because
it's
the
so
the
crazy.
other nominees are there's two Amelia Perez songs, there's a Sing Sing song, and there's an Elton John song from I guess an Elton John concert film. I Never
No,
Too Late.
I think it's a doc.
It's a doc. Okay, Never Too Late from Elton John. Never Too Late. Music and lyric by Elton John and Brandy Carlisle. Um, so
Oh, I guess it's a doc. Yeah, it's a doc.
so there is a Amelia Perez song that the director Jacques Audiard is a credited co-writer of. So that makes the most sense, I guess, as the winner there to just be like, we could give the director of the movie a song Oscar.
Mhm.
Um, but you don't think this is the one where they finally just give it to Diane Warren?
It
They're
can't.
just going to continue this prank. So is this a situation where everyone in Hollywood, they all are in on it? Like
Yeah,
there
they're
is the one thing they all agree on. They argue about all these different topics, but they all agree we've got to continue to fuck with Diane Warren's head
yeah,
every year.
the season is a slog. The voting is a slog. There's
Right.
so much that you have to do as an Academy voter that, it takes up your time. You have to watch a lot of things you might necessarily not want to watch. You have to read a lot of names that you have trouble reading. The one thing, like you said, I think it does bring every contingent together is that they can all giggle to
Yeah.
themselves and know they're part of a fraternity of pranksters,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
that they all are gonna check that Diane Warren box no matter what. As
Yeah.
soon as they see Diane Warren, they text each other and they say, "Guess what I voted for?
Yep.
Guess what I voted for?" And
Yep.
everybody's gonna laugh, and everybody knows DW, DW,
Yep.
right? It's the thing that everybody looks forward to every season is to prank this woman.
They just text each other DW and then smiley face.
Yep, yep.
DW, DW. They're all texting each other. They don't have to put in any context.
And she wakes up every Oscar morning
Oh,
like it's like she's,
gonna win.
she's 50 first dates, right?
Yeah. Yep.
Like she's Drew Barrymore in 50 First Dates
Yep.
and thinking, here we go, Oscar
Fresh
gold,
new day. Yeah.
fresh new day, fresh new Oscar season. Here we go.
Yeah.
It's
Doesn't remember that this has happened 50 years straight for her.
listen, Hollywood is full of disgusting people, right?
Mm-hmm.
Who have done terrible things and will
Yeah.
continue to do terrible things.
And have
And one
made great
was
movies that we love.
absolutely, it goes without saying.
Yeah.
And I'm not I'm just saying facts. This is not a
Oh, yeah.
judgment.
Yeah. Of course.
This is not a character judgment. This is factual.
Right.
But one of those things is
Mm-hmm.
every year pranking this woman.
Yeah.
Because yes, does she seem like an obnoxious jerk? She does. But how much of that is the bullying and the pranking, right? Like how much of that is that she's had her pants pulled down publicly, what, 16 years in a row or something?
How is
Because they
this?
even threw Susan Lucci a bone. Like this is
She
not even
won. I think Susan Lucci ended up winning like 10 daytime Emmys at some
and
point.
also it wasn't even that long that she had to wait.
Yeah.
Right. I
In
think
retrospect,
that's
I
no
think it was like
overblow.
4 years. It just had never happened up to that point.
Yeah. And this is like decades. This is like, Richard Linklater when he's directing that movie that's going to take 20 years, Merrily We Roll Along. I mean, this is going to go further than that. She's going to get a fucking posthumous Oscar nomination.
And she won't win it.
She won't win it.
Yeah.
And she won't win it.
Yeah. I mean, she's going to get a one of those Lifetime Achievement Award nominations. She will be the first person when she's alive that they will tell her, okay, this year Diane Warren is nominated for the Lifetime Achievement Award. And in her head, she'll be like, wow, I'm going to the Oscars because I've won the Lifetime Achievement Award. And then she gets there and they say, no. We nominated you for it. You didn't win.
She did get an honorary Oscar at the Governor's Awards in November 2022. Okay.
Oh, wow. Okay.
But it turned out to be chocolate.
It turned out to be chocolate. Yeah. Yeah. It was melted chocolate already. It was very, very syrupy by the time she was handed it. So is this is Hollywood's longest running tradition right now, is fucking with Diane Warren.
Yes.
Yes. We're both looking forward. We watch the Oscars every year. We can't wait, no matter what the show is, no matter what the host is. But this year, Conan O'Brien is hosting the Oscars. I mean, you throw genius around. There are a few comedy geniuses that actually exist. He is one of them. Very excited that he is hosting this show. He's got to fuck with Diane Warren in one of his hosting segments. I mean, is this the return of the masturbating bear? Triumph comes out. Like, is there an entire segment that is them, really bringing Diane Warren up and letting her know everyone stands up, they start laughing at her? Is that how far this
that
goes?
seems exceptionally cruel for Conan.
Yeah, that's not a Conan bit. You're right.
That's not a Conan bit.
Honestly, that's
a Jimbo Kimmel bit.
That's a Jimbo Kimmel bit. Yeah, you're right. You're right. Conan wouldn't do that. That's more of that's a man show hosting the Oscars type of bit. I do think, though, they should start promoting the Oscars around the Diane Warren prank category and really promote that harder. Get Diane Warren to do one of those commercials where she's on stage, the Oscar logo next to her, and she's talking about, and the voiceover is, this finally going to be the year, or are we fucking with her again? Tune in, Academy Awards.
Yeah, they have her on. They have. It's just the year, and then somebody runs up and tases her.
And so, yeah, yeah, yeah. I yeah, I think they've got to do more because especially these days, younger generation. I mean, every generation loves pranks, but I feel like this generation they love their YouTube pranksters. They love when YouTubers walk up and down in a mall and headbutt people or whatever it is
Mhm.
that pranksters nowadays do. I think that's a
Yeah,
big prank is YouTubers headbutting people in a mall.
yeah,
Um, you've got Hollywood that has this collective yearly prank happening where they nominate Diane Warren and then don't let her win. Advertise that. Advertise, watch this show, kids, to see the greatest annual prank that we pull every year on this older songwriter.
hmm
If you love YouTubers headbutting people in a mall, check out the prank that we do. Thousands of us every year prank one woman,
hmm
one older, esteemed songwriter, and we all prank her together at the
yeah,
Academy Awards. Like that should
yeah.
be one of the selling points of this Oscars. And it's like you don't have an Oppenheimer or a Titanic or something that level that's going to win Best Picture. I think promote this show on Conan's hosting. He's the greatest. And number two, come see the Diane Warren prank.
hmm Yeah, I mean, it will bring in a younger demographic for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. Um I think that's they probably aren't going to do that this year. It seems like they've already set their marketing in motion, but I think next year the prank of Diane Warren should be the focus of the Oscars promotion.
Yeah.
Um, anything else you need to cover on this emergency quickie episode of the BO Boys?
No, I mean, maybe animated
Mm,
quickly. We can talk about animated. I mean, that is, listen, the reason we got to talk about animated is I do think Flow is going to be the winner here, but you got Flow, you got Inside Out 2, huge box office,
wait, so
Memoir.
Florence Pugh was nominated for Best Animated Feature?
No, that would be Miss Flow.
Okay, I thought you said Miss Flow. Okay,
No,
so
no.
Flow is the name of the movie, not
Flow is
okay.
the name of, not Miss Flow.
Miss Flow. That's okay. Got it. Got it. Got it.
Inside Out 2, Memoir of a Snail, Wallace and Gromit, Vengeance Most Foul, and The Wild Robot. And the only reason we're mentioning this is because if The Wild Robot wins, which it has a chance to,
Mm-hmm.
it was a box office winner.
Yep.
This is where the Chris Sanders and Jeff Herman, who would be nominated for this film,
Mm-hmm.
would have to thank Terrifier 3 for all of the box office, for keeping it afloat, for keeping its notoriety up.
Yep.
This is where Terrifier 3 gets its sort of award. I mean, if we're talking, listen, we talked Ving Rhames and we talked
Jack Lemmon.
Jack Lemmon.
Yeah, handing
I
the
mean,
award. Yeah.
this is Chris Sanders and Jeff Herman handing Art the Clown
Yeah.
this Oscar
Yeah.
if they
Because
win
of
it.
all of the teenagers who bought tickets for the Wild Robot, then snuck into Terrifier 3.
Yeah,
Yeah, this would be the place for the Wild Robot team to make that acknowledgement.
yeah,
It only works though if Wild Robot wins. So now we've got to hope that the voters vote for them to win so
yeah,
they could acknowledge Terrifier 3. But Art the Clown has to get a ticket to sit front row
yeah. He gets
for this
well,
tour.
the
The
Nicholson seat
Nicholson
has not
spot?
been filled.
Yeah. Yeah, Hanks kind of passed on taking it over.
Clooney,
Uh
nobody liked that.
Clooney, people, it didn't fit. I think Brad Pitt has flirted with that spot, but
Leo
we
doesn't
have,
want it.
yeah, Leo doesn't want it. So it could be get Art the Clown in there so that the wild robot could acknowledge him.
You
Yeah,
gotta show
I'd love to
him
see that.
chainsawing a seat filler in half and then sitting down in the Nicholson seat.
Yes. Yes. Um, I think it's a possibility. I do feel like there is a strong possibility that Terrifier 3 Art the Clown will have a presence on the telecast.
Mhm.
Um, I mean, the biggest movie of the year this year was Inside Out 2.
Mhm.
Um, so it should, I mean, it should win this Oscar because it's the biggest movie of the year.
Doesn't
Um,
always work that way.
but it doesn't always work that way. Yeah, I would love to see that. I would love to see that. So I think we've covered everything that we would need to in this just immediate, most important, right off our, you know, the most important items
Domes?
right off our domes. I think we've covered it.
Yeah.
So,
Yes.
of course, email us, theboboyspodcast at gmail.com, just to let us know your thoughts about the Oscars. We do want to hear your thoughts because next episode, Sunday night results episode, we're going to lance that engorged mailbag. So get some Oscar hot takes in there and we will discuss those as well. Clayton, I'm done. I got nothing left.
Yeah, my baby is crying. I finished. And you said it all.
Yeah,
There's nothing left to be said
nothing.
except for until next time.
Will smell
Smell you
you
at
at the
the